What's up, Roxstars? It's Rox coming to you today with a review for The Chi Season 4, Episode 9, you guys. One more to go, and we are done. And I think I am done. Done. But anyway, you guys, the review. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, so let's start off with Douda. So Douda's in his office. I was like, is he the Godfather now? You know, he's twirling the metal balls in his hand, right? And we got the camera angle from like right at his hand. Anyway, he's sitting across from Trig and he is talking to him and he's feeling reflective. Contemplative, if you will. Trig is actually looking worried. Douda's telling him how, you know, when he got shot, his life flashed in front of his eyes, you know. And Trig said, well, what did you see? And he said, just all of the pain that I caused a lot of people, you know, all the bridges that he burned. Maybe it's time for old Douda to turn a new leaf. He said that with all of the stuff that he's done, it also reminded him that he was a good dude. Trig was like, are you? Well, I guess time will tell. Anyway, Douda, because he's feeling like this, he says, you know, he don't really have any real family. And he was kind of thinking that maybe he can make himself a part of Trig and Jake's family. You know, he never really had a son. You know, Jake don't really have a dad, you know, even though Trig is there. And Trig was like, no, you don't need to be there. But he was just like, nah, you know, he wants to be there. He wants to be a part of Jake's life. And the way he sees it, that they can both benefit from, you know, Jake being in his life, him being in Jake's life. All right. Now, we don't get to discuss this much more because Marcus walks in. That's Gemma Daddy. Gemma Daddy busts in. Did you see the paper? Okay. Oh, he mad, vein in the forehead and everything. And, you know, Douda, cool as a cucumber, like, no, what is it? He was like, we lost the bid for the Olympics. Did you really think you was getting the damn bid in the first place with no fucking police? Douda was like, so what? I don't care. I mean, that was your thing anyway. That was more your deal than mine. But Marcus was just like, as hard as they worked, you know, they really needed to have this. This would have been good for the city, you know, blah, blah, blah. Douda don't want to hear it. And honey, Gemma Daddy so mad. He's like, fuck you, Otis. I was like, why did I not remember his name was Otis? He walks out. So, you know, Trig go chasing out after him. Trig stops him. And he's like, you know, just kind of telling him I was a little worried about Douda, you know, just everything that's happened to him, you know, he's been through a lot. And now it seems like he's all over the place. And he was like, he's always all over the place. That ain't nothing new. And he was like, no, even more so than normal. Gemma Daddy done had enough. He ain't no damn Superman. He ain't nothing but a nigga in a suit. Trig was like, you know, people can change. And I was like, ooh, Trig, you're not drinking the Kool-Aid, are you? Now, this is the same Douda that is giving you the blues all this time. Now, all of a sudden, just because he told you his life flashed in front of his eyes, now all of a sudden he's a good dude. People can change, not Douda. Marcus was like, he ain't never changing. You so big on protecting the community, you need to be protecting the community from him. And you know what Trig says? Well, fuck you then, okay? Because all of a sudden, Trig and Douda, you know, they like this. So now Trig goes back in there and him and the mayor having a drink and, you know, just kind of talking about him being the people's mayor. What he needs to do to help this community. You know, Douda says that he'd do better just reaching across the aisle. That's how he can work with the other people. But Trig don't see it that way. It's okay. Douda said he learning as he go. But he does look at Trig as an asset. He was like, you know, I could use somebody like you in my administration. I was just like, this former drug dealer / gangster, you could actually have him as somebody in your administration? Douda, really? All we got to do is put you on a suit and a tie. Clean you up real good. Trig was like, yeah, I'm not really a suit and tie kind of person. He asked him, how's Jake doing? And he was like, he's fine. You know, he's going to the Spring Fling with Gemma. And Douda says, well, I thought that Gemma was Kev's girl. And he was like, not anymore. Oh, honey, that got a good little laugh out of old Douda. He was like, oh, chip off the old block. How does Gemma's daddy feel about that? Well, he ain't really the happiest. And Douda was like, of course he's not. Okay, that light-skinned motherfucker think he better than everybody. And Trig just looks at him and I was just like, well, I guess Douda and Trig are boys now, okay? Stranger things have happened, I guess. Jumping over to these grown-ass kids, we see Papa and Kev. Now, this is what kids do. They in the room, and child, they is singing their hearts out to Let's Get Married, the slow version. Not the fast, so deaf version. So they pouring out their heart, poor things. Both of them just broken-hearted, no woman. And they in there singing their life away. And Keisha's downstairs texting her new boyfriend, you know, what are you doing? He was like, thinking about you. Oh, so sweet, you guys. While she trying to, you know, talk to her man through text message, the baby starts crying because they got Let's Get Married blasting at the highest decibels. You know, Keisha goes up there and is like, turn that shit down. You're waking up the damn baby. Jumping over to Emmett, we see him over at his other baby mama. So I forgot all about this baby mama. What is her name? I don't even remember. But anyway, he's over there and he's telling her about his problems with Tiffany. And she was just like, oh, well, I mean, you done put her through so much. The girl deserved to have a little bit of fun. But she ain't got time to be sitting around and talking to Emmett much longer. She got a date. And he was like, oh, really? And he was like, somebody serious? And she was like, it could be if he continues to act, you know, the way he has been acting. He's so good to me and so good to my baby. And Emmett was like, our baby. He's happy for her. He looks at her and he says, you look good, girl. And she was like, don't even try it. He was like, I'm not even on that. Like, I'm not trying to get back with you. I'm trying to get my wife back. She's about to leave out on her date. You can tell she kind of feels sorry for Emmett. She gives him a scarf, says, give this to your mom. Okay, tell her that I'm praying for her. And she leaves out. Everybody just so grown up. Remember how ignorant everybody used to be just 2 seasons ago? So then Emmett goes to see his mom. We see her in the room. She's putting her scarf on. She's moisturizing, you know, drawing her eyebrows in because I'm assuming the chemo has made like her eyebrows fall out. And, you know, just trying to get herself prepared for the day. Emmett comes on over, gives her the scarf that Shay gave. That's the girlfriend's name. I mean, the baby mama, Shay. Gives her the scarf, says Shay told me to give this to you. Anyways, he tells her how he had a heart-to-heart with her and, you know, it turned out really well. Jada tells him how proud of him she is. They just have a better relationship now that Emmett is finally growing up. Might be too late as far as him and Tiff are concerned, but it is nice to see Emmett and his mom, you know, her not fussing at him. Later on, Darnell goes to see Jada. And they're just sitting and talking, reminiscing about, you know, the dates that they used to go on, you know, the tenderonis that they used to see. Him being a mess, a hot ass mess, Jada calls it. I'm sure he was. He says that they both did they mess. You not perfect either. And she was like, I'm not, but I did raise our son all by myself. And he was like, yeah, I do feel bad about that I wasn't around for him, you know, but I am here now. And she was just like, you're right, you are here now. And she's happy that he's here. You know, just him being around this last year has made a big difference. So she's grateful for that. He tells her that he loves her, and you know, she was like, I love you too, D. And I was like, oh, this is so sweet. You know, we not getting the ignorant Darnell with the Bluetooth in his ear. He was like, is there anything that I can do for you? Know that'll make you feel better. And she was just like, oh yeah, the dogs, they need massage. And he was like, yeah, that's what you got your masseuse boyfriend for. I don't think so. Okay. But he's spending the whole day over there with her. You know, he gonna be cooking some food for her, you know, just spending the day and helping take care of her. Now, Keisha goes down to the restaurant and she is all smiles. You know, Emmett sees her and he's just like, so what you all smiling about? Okay, must be a new boyfriend. You know, she was like, maybe. She tells him that he works with her. He was like, well, at least he got a job. But he has Keisha go with him down to some property he's looking at, thinking about buying a place for his mother. So he asked the realtor, like, you know, what does he need to do? And she says, okay, well, you're going to have to make a bid. And Keisha says, well, what can make his chances even higher of getting this place? And the lady says, make a cash offer. Okay, now how much did the damn place cost? Emmett, you just got that kind of money laying around? And then the realtor looks over at Keisha and she says, oh my God, you're the girl. And, you know, Keisha's looking like, excuse me, do I know you? And she was like, no, but I know your story. And I was just like, do you think that this girl actually wants you to recognize her for something so awful? I was so annoyed when she said that. You know, Emmett was just like, oh yeah, well, she don't really like to talk about it. And then she was like, oh, okay, but let me just tell you, Keisha, that, you know, you are an inspiration to survivors everywhere. And actually, I was like, okay. Now I'm gonna give her even though I still don't know if I would have said it the way that she did, but we'll give her a pass. So when she said that, that seemed to have really helped Keisha and maybe made her feel a little bit better. So then later on, we see Keisha over, well, she's at home, and Octavia is, why do I keep wanting to call that lady Octavia? Is that what her name is, you guys? The one that was adopting the baby that didn't get the baby? Anyway, she's over at the house, you guys, and you know, she's all just super sweet, and she's super gentle, and she's talking to Keisha, you know, just, asking her how she is, how everything's going with the baby. You know, Keisha gives her a picture and says, you know, she wanted to give it to her because she didn't want her to be mad at her. And she was just like, I could never be mad at you. Keisha tells her that she named the baby Rodney, and she was like, oh, that's a beautiful name. So she's just really just still trying to help Keisha through it. She asked Keisha, what is it that she wants, you know, for her future? And Keisha says she wants to be a good mother. And she says, no, what is it that you wanted to be before the baby came into the picture? And she says, well, I wanted to go to school, you know. And she says, well, you can still do that. And she was just like, how, when? Like, she ain't got time for school. She was like, no, not right now. But once you finally get, you know, used to your schedule and everything with the baby, maybe when the baby gets a little bit older, then you can come by my office and I'll help you put some applications in. I said, well, thank God for Miss Octavia, because what is Keisha Mama doing over there? Keisha Mama and Dre over there having so many problems, child. They done left this poor child out there just raising this baby all on her own and still having her little, you know, her little issues. So, good thing that she has this woman. And she says that Keisha reminds her of her. And that's the reason why she, you know, has made it a point to make sure that she helps Keisha. So, remember I told you that Darnell is over at the house and he is cooking for Jada. He calls Emmett and was like, look, I'm making these pork chops. You need to make sure you make it over here so that, you know, if you want to eat. But Emmett is at work. So, he calls Papa, who is on call. What Papa, else Papa got to do? Papa ain't with Maisha no more, so... He calls him and tells him to come in because he's got to go. He's going to go hang with family. Emmett makes it over there to the house, and, you know, they just sitting around and talking and laughing, you know, as a family. I said, oh, look, finally Emmett got his mom and his dad together, and it ain't no shit. And afterwards, you know, she shows them that she cut all her hair off, but she still needs it to be, like, lined up and done well, you know. So Darnell was like, yeah, I'll hook you up, you know. So he's going to cut her hair down and get that all straight. It ain't really nothing that happened in this episode, you guys. But let me just, please, I'm trying to get through it. Now, the Spring Fling is coming up, and, you know, Gemma's excited. She's talking about all the things she got to do. She got to do this to her hair. She got to find this outfit. She got to get her nails done. You know, Jake, are you listening to me? Of course, Jake is not listening to you. He don't care about any of that stuff. While they're in the house, they hear a horn honk. So they go out to the front, and Trig pulls up in the Mercedes truck and was just like, you know, basically, she's yours. And he was like, are you giving it to me? He was like, no, I'm just letting you, you know, take Gemma home, but you can use it when you guys go to the dance. So, you know, Jake is excited, like, ooh, you guys remember, I remember my brother let me drive his Honda Accord. He had a Honda Accord hatchback in 1986 when I got my driver's license. And he was like, if you get your license, you can drop me off at work. He worked at Montgomery Ward. He was like, you can drop me off at work, and then you can keep my car all day. And child, I got my license. My appointment was for 8 o'clock in the morning on my birthday, the day after Christmas. I got my license, and sure enough, dropped his ass off at work. And I had his car and couldn't even drive a stick, and it was a stick. So I had to teach myself how to drive a stick, basically. But damn it, I was driving that car. And I felt like I was in, like, the nicest Mercedes Benz. You couldn't tell me nothing. Anyways, Jake, you know, after he drops Gemma off, he goes straight to the restaurant, picks up Papa and Kev, okay, since they cool again. And they in the car just real quick. You know, Kev was like, so Jake just letting you drive his car around? He was like, no. Okay, I just had to drop Gemma off. But they got some weed in the car, so, you know, they smoking. Well, at least Kev and Jake are. Papa in that back seat like, no. Okay, he ain't doing that. You know his daddy is the preacher. As a matter of fact, he was like, if I go home smelling like weed, I'm going to be in a whole bunch of trouble. So, you know, crack these windows. So, you know, they do a couple little puffs on the joint, and then Papa was like, yeah, I'm going to have to get out of here because I'm getting high. Okay, but, you know, Jake and Kev, like I said, they boys again. They dap each other up or whatever, and then Kevin gets out the car. Now, speaking of Gemma, Gemma's at home with her dad, and he's talking to her about these low SAT scores. He's concerned, and, you know, she ain't really concerned. And he was like, well, you're not going to get in the Ivy League school, you know, with those scores. And she was just like, yeah, I ain't even really sure if I want to go to an Ivy League school. And he was just like, what? Like, no, You know, when me and your mom divorced, I thought the mom was dead, but the mom is just divorced. Okay. He was like, when me and your mom divorced, I promised her that I would take care of you. And she was just like, yeah, I know, but you know, she's still on something different. Like, she ain't even sure if that's what she want to do now. Now, he tried to give her little, you know, hints at life, you know, be careful with the company you keep. And she was just like, I could say the same for you. I said, yeah, you need to stop hanging around Douda, but that's neither here nor there. And she was like, I could say the same for you. And he was just like, touche. And he was like, look, girl, I got this cake for you. It's your favorite cake. And she was like, that is not my favorite cake. And he was like, it's not since when? She was like, since I was little. Okay, you do know that I'm not a little girl anymore. And he was like, oh no, you are always gonna be my baby. And really, that was the most that I think that we seen Gemma and her dad do throughout the damn show. Now we see Kev. Kev calls the girl. Actually, they were playing the video game together, and then he calls her. They're just talking, and he tells her about his best friend going to the spring dance with his ex-girlfriend. And she was like, well, no wonder you losing, okay? No wonder you keep on messing up. And then while she's on the phone talking to him, somebody walks in the room. I thought it was her mother. But it turns out, I think she said it was her brother's girlfriend. And she walks into the room and she was just like, I'm leaving, I'll be back later, basically. So then Kevin and the girl, they end up hanging out. So they're together now, but they're still playing the video games. And, you know, after they finished playing the game, he was just like, you know, let's go to the Spring Fling. And she was just like, oh, you just want to go there so you can see your ex-girlfriend. And he was like, ain't nobody thinking about them. All right, fuck that school. I just want to go and get some free snacks and watch the white people try to catch the beat. Are you down? Let's go. And she was just like, oh yeah, that sounds like fun. Okay, so now they're gonna crash the Spring Fling. Now at the house, Jim and Jake, they're about to leave, and it's like going to the prom. So Trig is there, and Jim and Daddy is there, and they taking pictures of them, you know, with their phones or whatever, and as they're about to leave, and then there's a knock at the door. And it's Douda. Like, oh, I just wanted to show my face, you know, and see everybody off, okay? And they're like, oh, you know, we was just about to leave. And he says, okay, well, let me take a few pictures. And Trig was like, oh, I'll airdrop you the pictures that we already took. Douda was just like, okay. And he was just looking at Jake and looking wistful and everything, like, look at my son. He was like, I wouldn't miss this for the world. I was like, what is wrong with Douda? All of a sudden, he just so in love with his Jake. Jake and Gemma, you know, they rush out to the car. You know, they excited. They get in the car. They about to leave. And we got all three of the daddies on the porch. Trig, Gemma Daddy, and Douda, you know, just as proud as can be. Now, the Spring Fling. So Jake and Gemma are there, you know, with the rest of the kids, and they're down there dancing on the dance floor. Kevin, the girl, walk in, and she looks down, and she was just like, oh, is that them right there? And he was like, yeah. And she was just like, she looked like the type that'll leave you for your best friend. Okay, she got a lot of money? Yeah, she got a lot of money. Okay, she figured the type. While Jake and Gemma are down there dancing, Jake realizes that he left his bag at the house. You know, he's like, oh shit, I gotta go back. And she was like, if we leave, we gonna miss most of the dance. And he was just like, I have my weed in that bag. Do you want your dad to find that? And she was just like, no. And she was like, okay, let's just go. Okay. So they're leaving the dance. Now at the house, the very same house that Jake and Jim are on their way back to, Douda is sitting and talking to, well, he's not sitting. He's standing and talking to Marcus, who's sitting down. And they're having a drink. Douda's just like, I know you want to destroy me, but you ain't got no proof. And Marcus was like, yeah, I could do that. I'm sure Rosalind got some things to say, or I can come out about Tracy. And he was just like, psh. You know, the people would be upset about that for a week, and then they would move on to something else. He ain't worried about no damn Tracy. And then Marcus was like, well, I know that you got gang ties. I know that you killed an innocent person. And he was just like, he wasn't innocent. So he didn't even deny that he had killed Brandon. And then he says, and you've been misappropriating the funds. I mean, I guess we all know that, because where this damn money that's supposed to go to the police department? What is anybody checking the checks and balances of what the mayor's office is even doing? So he was just like, I mean, if Jake hadn't got attacked by the cops, would you have even come after them like that? You'd have made this big old mess out of everything, and all Jake needed to do was show his ID. And while Douda was looking at him, he was just like, you keep him away from my daughter. And Douda was like, it seems like your daughter is the one that's going around fucking everybody. I said, did not say that about a high school age child, did you, Douda? And his daughter on top of that? Oh, you about to get hit. So, of course, Marcus gets up and he hits him. He's like, you gonna fucking insult me in my own damn house? And dude, I get up. Child, don't let the smooth taste fool you. He might have a cane, but he's still swinging, hit Marcus back, okay, and knocks Marcus down. And when he does that, he gets his cane and he hits him, and he just keeps on hitting him. Boom, 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 hitting him a whole bunch of times. And I was like, oh my God, you about to kill this man? Dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? And now while he in there beating the man to death, Trig is sitting out on the porch like waiting for Douda to come out so they can leave. And which didn't make any sense because Trig was there before Douda got there. So you had your own, well, he didn't have his own car because Jake has the car. That's right. So anyway, I guess Douda's going to drop him off back at home. So he was like, what is he doing? You know, it's taking a long time. So he goes in there, and when he walks in, he sees Marcus just face pulverized on the ground, you know. And, you know, Trigger's like, oh my God, what the fuck? What did you do? Like, what are you doing? Okay, he pulls out his phone, and as soon as he pulls out his phone, I said the same thing that Otis said, which was, who you about to call? Okay, the police? Nigga, you the police. Call your damn self. Now, what you gonna do with this man that's bleeding out here on this floor? Shit. So he was just like, we can't let him die here. He was like, yes, you can, basically. Douda was not worried about it, sitting there just kind of, you know, was he smoking something or drinking something? Like, yeah, he gonna be fine. Just let his ass die there. So while Trig is down there on the floor trying to help Marcus, Jake, they pull up at the house. So, you know, Jake was like, stay in the car. And he's gonna go in there and get the bag and come right back out. So he goes in, he sneaks in the house, but of course when he goes in there, he sees Trig down there on the floor with Marcus, and then he sees Douda just sitting over there, and when Trig turns around and sees Jake, he was just like, Jake, it's not what you think, okay? And Jake just grabbed his bag and take off running, okay? It's so funny because Jake act like he's so tough, but then when he sees certain things, it always just like, that lets you know that he is still a child, okay? So he runs back to the car. She was just like, was my dad asleep? And he was just like, yeah, okay. And he's just kind of looking around. He take a deep breath and he just pulls off. All right. But yeah, in the house, Trig was like, I can't let him die here. And he has a daughter. And he was just like, I don't give a fuck what he got. He should have thought about that before he, you know, threatened me. Let that motherfucker die. And poor Jake is just a mess after all of this. I was just like, what is wrong with Douda? He is a fucking crazy man. Somebody needs to kill him. Is he gonna die next episode? And I was like, see, and that's what Trig get, because Trig was so, you know, Marcus tried to tell him. And Trig told him, fuck you, because all of a sudden, because Douda had told him how his life flashed before his eyes, all of a sudden he thought he was a changed man. That man ain't changed. Lastly, we see Kev with the girl, and you know, she's all hard to him, and you know, every time he suggests something, she got something back to say. He was like, damn, what's wrong with you? Like, can't somebody be nice to you? And she was like, I'm not used to men being, you know, boys being nice to me. And he was like, well, you should be. Okay, I don't have any tricks up my sleeve. I'm just trying to get to know you. Like, damn, loosen up a little bit. All right. I guess she was supposed to be going home, but like I told you guys, that girl that was leaving the house earlier, that was his brother's girlfriend, and the brother is out of town. So she was like, every time when, you know, she's just there with her, you know, she'd be acting kind of funny. So she didn't really want to go home. So Kevin actually lets her come back home with him, sneaks her in the room, I guess, because again, where is Nina and Dre? Okay, they so worried about their shit. They don't even know that Kevin had snuck a girl up in the house and let the child sleep in the room. But I guess that's no different than what Keisha used to do, right? He makes a pallet on the floor, and he was like, I'm gonna sleep on the floor, you can sleep in the bed. You know, gives her something to wear for night clothes, and then he lays down on the floor, and then she gets down on the floor next to him, and she kisses him, and she tells him thank you, and then they just go to sleep. And I was like, oh. I'm telling you, you never could have told me that I was going to like Keisha and Kevin the most on this show. Never could have told me that. Okay, but here we are. All right, you guys, that was real painful to try to get through, you guys. I'm just over this show. I'm really over it. I'm ready for it to be done next week. And I'm so sick of Douda and his stupid self and all of that. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to get off of here. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm itsrox. The channel is itsrox. Everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Till next time, Roxstars. Bye.